First question I have for you, my sister, is that what are some of the misunderstandings of the Moorish history that our people really need to understand?
Wow, that's vast.
Just going on.
It's just so vast.
Right.
The main thing is people don't know anything about their nationality or birthright, or that they are. Or well, let's start with what is a Moor. That would be the first thing. It's like, what is a Moor? What is, like they'll say all this stuff about more and more and more. I mean, it's is the manifestation of the being into the flesh, the being who travels upon the waters of the earth, but first beginning in the waters of their mother's womb. So when you look up the word more, it just doesn't mean a noun. It's actually an action. So it means that we travel upon the 7 stages of development in the waters of the mother's womb. That's mooring.
Look, if you want to read it, read Stanley Lane Poe's The Moors in Spain, written in 1887, or Alejandro Macaziza. Read his book in Spanish, The Moors in Spain, and said that even the bath was introduced by those Africans.
You know, goddamn motion picture.
They got me looking for the artifacts till my heart collapse. I be running through the scene like I'm on a lab. The way we left them on the scene put us on the map. So I be all up on the scene looking hard for all the stolen Moorish artifacts. Feeling like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene looking for my shit like red flags and green sashes. We assassins. Triple gold, my feds high like I'm Selassie. Physical, your men die, we everlasting. In the cold like Northgate, winter, Alaska. Killing the pastor, breaking it down my mind like a disaster. Ass whooping the bastard. If you don't represent the service team, bloodline, more by bloodline. Welcome to the front line. Baby, I want mine. I'm so impatient, I'm cutting up in the lunch line. I call it crunch time. They trying to punk some, but I ain't over time. I'm Noble Charlie, I'm working overtime. Hidden treaty, 1787 times 711. Higher than 7 heavens. Steady, no guessing. Better stomach the lesson. Who be trapped in the house? I'm home alone like Kevin 2-7. I'm here to make my case with law and rest it. I shouldn't taught the flies, no hands, necklace. I keep a peppermint on the top of the dresser. Working 7 days a year, looking for the stolen Moorish artifacts. Like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene looking for my shit like.
Doctrine of discovery from a Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Always challenge jurisdiction of your captors. Stand on your square. No apron or protractors will manifest chefs, not Cleopatra. Man is man tantra. Know that self mantra. Get out the lower self and vibrate your chakras. Walking on the higher road, my staff on my levels of Allah. If my God protected more with the 7s up. From Quadra Halos, Celestial Pharaohs. Exposed those Socrates and Plato's. Chopped down my cherry tree and still couldn't bury me. In their secret lodges, they pretend to be me. Indiana Jones, national treasures, angels and demons, and one world agendas. Razor blade smiles, alien, reptilian, running corporate governments with warred civilians. Invisible wars, police state has risen, uplifting falling from their mental prisons. 5-point star drawn, vortex and wormholes, leads to behind the backs of turncoats.
Stolen Moorish artifacts, like I'm Artemis. See, I be running through the scene like I'm on a mission. The way they left about the scene made it hard to miss them. See, I be all up on the scene looking for my shit like.
But remember, when there came a time in 1506, Africans ruled Spain from 711. We were calling ourselves Moors, Maursnmors, from 711 until 1485.
So they studied the actual cities and they monitor these particular things. Fortunately, the last 4 or 5 years, black people have gone to a certain savage level, and that's good. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. When the Arabs was going across Africa, and right after Muhammad, they went across Africa and Islam, they cut your head off and you died.
First time I saw the prophets pick like, whoa. No one ever told I feel sick like, bro. Stomach all churning what I'm learning like, no. Also have my own flag not burning like, no. Fez a turban on other nations like, whoa. What's wrong with your people's minds like, whoa. Wanna take pics and talk for hours like, never felt this reppin' black power like, never felt this reppin' chematology. Most of your black leaders teach technology. Egypt is North Africa, so is Morocco. In the farthest west, Mecca is Chicago, Mississippi, Nile River, Grand Canyon, Pharaoh. I'm Moroccan native, they call the mother spaceship. Disrespect Malik L, call him slave named Malcolm. Speak truth, watch blacks have a tantrum. Masked up like phantoms, age of corona. Catch the Heineken virus, not improper persona. Fall victim to lymphoma, pineal melanoma. Like war when I read the Treaty of Verona. Whoa, when I read the Protocols of Zion. With goosebumps drinking roots of the dandelions. Berries of the elders, grass of the lemons. Like whoa, how my people ride with these snitch felons.
People lost, start telling like me felon. Twin towers explode like 9/11. Time 7 like melting down the church bells to fill a weapon too sick like Catholic priests playing with leeches. My wolf pack tear 'em apart, breaking the leashes. Bad night, bad mission, sad vision, past living, cash missing. I done seen it all before like fast life. Alhamdulillah, Stephallah, cash life. Feds getting involved, switching on flashlights. Allah, we appear like voila. Scimitar, make 'em calm down, goose rabba. CNN show the host on the repeat. Corona is over, now George on a repeat. Like how would you survive? Everybody crash Jesus. Take the wheel, it's gonna be another rapture. Go to crisiscast.com. Right now, you'll see that we in the matrix. Right now, George Soros handing out paychecks. Right now, niggas mad cause they ain't get paid yet. Pipe down, I mean poke down. Pause on the savages. They only active to react to what is happening. What's happening? City ordinance, marriage rights, subjugate the womb, human trafficking.
Islam. GS is about to be crazy. Mufti's going wild.
All of that is black culture. See, when I sit down at the bus stop back in September, and I look down and there's somebody left a Bible there. And I guess the spirit was like saying, well, there's some stuff in there you need to go in. And see, when I opened the Bible up to Mr. Moab. And then I saw a story on China classes, the story of Ruth. All of this stuff is nothing but, no matter these white faces or whatever, we did live in other lands and we were a universal people. And these stories of our people, that's all over the earth.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, they had them up all day. Independence alarm, they said a little lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, they had them up all day. Independence alarm, they said a little lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hallway. I was in a lost state. Prophets get me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbe, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no clue I live in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snakes still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, different slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squash my heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded, Bamu see me. Selassie, I am exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veiled shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
This one, Moors. What's good? Canaanland Moors. You already know. You already know. We just want to make an announcement. Hellfire. Peace to the Moor, Kasir El. And Iron Sheik Moorish MC. 11 bats to the head. So Islam to all the Moors. Islam to Powhatan. He sent me something. So we want to make sure we get that out the way, because you're not going to talk crazy about Moors and Moors not know that you're talking crazy. Understand that. You're not going to talk nuts about Moors and use the Moors website to try to talk crazy, and use the Moors, who the Moors uphold as master teachers, to talk crazy about Moors, and Canaanland Moors not put you on the hook, and see if we could beat some candy out this piñata. So fair use, don't forget fair use for all the fair use guys who like to play games, want to talk crazy about Moors and then snitch. We've gone through this before, but if you have any questionable actions by Moors and you feel that, I don't like what these Moors are doing or whatever, you can send an email to canaanlandguide@gmail.com and we'll review and address certain things. So we'll address these people. We're not going to go through their whole 129 minutes or whatever. We just want the part where they're talking crazy, even though they're talking crazy in the whole thing. Everybody's good. Yes. We'll check this. Yeah. And how come a Camp Powhatan could know that these are Moor and then all the other Indians are talking crazy? But we're not dealing with them yet. We'll hold on the Indian guys. Let's deal with our friends, our brothers, our cousins who were across the river, think they know something. Hebrew Israelites, our retarded brothers who don't want to acknowledge that they're Canaanites and Moabites too. Stop playing dumb. Like Hebrew Israelites are Hebrew Israelites. No, you're not. You are 100% Canaanite.
Stop lying to people and get back with the nation. Because you already know Ben Amin told you guys back then that you're not Negro, black, colored. Where you get that from? Where you get that from? Oh, we don't follow him because he's all right. Well, that's not your branch, huh? You're from a different branch of the Hebrew Israelites? How? If all you people are Hebrew Israelites, what are you talking about? At least whether they're dirty, whatever, clean, active, passive, whatever, they say that they're Moors. They'll say they're some different stuff. You know you're not Israelites. It's not debate. It's not debate. But fair use. People like to play games.
Okay, so fair use. Here we have this. Okay.
In other words, they're being locked out. In other words, they're being locked out of the same system that they have been manipulating up until this point. Because the parameter and the time that was given to them was up, and they usurped that. So the prophet was the first one. The prophet Mujahid was the first one in history before the Federal Reserve, before it was set up, to tell everybody what was going down with it, and created a generational skipping trust for all of us who are the faithful, who consider ourselves faithful, at least, to benefit from in the eighth or ninth generation, which is us right now. So we are now about to reap the benefits. Those of us that have been laughed at, those of us that be pointing at us like, oh, look at the funny people in the hats and all of that type of stuff. Like, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. Everybody making tapes about Moors and how Moors ain't real and Moors shouldn't do this. Remember those people, B. Remember them. Because they're going to be the first one ransoming their children to get close to a Moor who's really right and who's really exact.
People remember this. This is what they come on camera saying. Any Israelite leaving their fucking children with no goddamn more is out of their motherfucking mind and obviously ignorant to the fucking history of the Moors.
Okay, well, what we say is that if you're gonna tell me about some verifying using book of Isaiah, we want to know how come your dumbass is not using the metaphysical meaning of Isaiah and you're talking about some guy who was walking around the place. If you got all the knowledge as the Hebrew Israelites or whatever, how come you're talking crazy? How come? How come you're not telling people that Isaiah is the higher self? That in us, which discerns the reality, the real character of spiritual man, and fearlessly proclaims spiritual understanding after the dominating physical strength has lost its hold on the organism. The higher self begins the purification of the body. Isaiah also signifies understanding of truth, that deliverance, abundant supply, spiritual, and all other forms of good come to man through Jehovah the Christ, his higher self, or spiritual I am. Why are they telling you about some Isaiah when you're Isaiah? You're Moses. You're Akhenaten. You're Nefertari. You're Hatshepsut and all that. I had some people on some wall and some statue. You're that. And when Noble Drew Ali came to tell these Moors, know about your higher self and your lower self. Same lesson. Recalibrated to our time so we can get the message of the ancient foremothers and forefathers in 2020. They're out here trying to tell you something about Moors and why you shouldn't whatever with Moors. When Hebrew Israelites are Moors. Again, Moorish, Zionist, Jews. Black Jews of Harlem. Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews. Moorish Zionist Temple. Yeah, they look like brothers and sisters to me. Yeah, they got their little tassels at the end of their stuff and all that. All right. They got their little hats and stuff. Oh, they got a sign right there, Star David. It's like, they got Star David. That means that they're Jews, right? That's Hebrew right there, right? So if they're writing Hebrew and stuff like that, that means that they're, hold on a sec. So if they have the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews here, and then over here they have Hebrew, then that must be saying what this is saying. And if that's saying what this is saying, that means in Hebrew, they know who the Moors are. And if they know who the Moors are, then who are these nut jobs telling you that we're not Moors? Who are they? Where they come from? Are they CIA, FBI, COINTELPRO? Somebody send them? Have they even proved that they are who they are to you? You need to question these people. Who are you? Like, we know, we can get the Duke on the phone. No problem. Email, no problem. These people, you don't know who these people are, claiming to be Hebrew Israelites, because history tells us that Jews are Moorish, and they had a Zionist temple in Harlem where they had a Star of David on the wall. So if they know that they're Moors, there's no way the people who came after them can't know or say that they're Moors. How? You have no say. You weren't even around. Like, I wasn't even around, and then there was something called Moorish Science Temple before me. And then we gravitate to that because we're Moors. Okay. The Hebrews weren't around, but they're gravitating to something 5,000 years ago instead of the thing 100 years ago that qualifies their position. Why? Because it says Moors. Because we're not the Moors. And the Moors are the Moabites and the incest, and then they start talking crazy. This is a real thing that we're talking about. Us saying that we're Moors, everybody knows and everybody knew. And whoever doesn't know, just like the Duke was saying, you're going to see them running to be a Moor. Every dirty Moor. When it's time to ride the mare of steel, because they weren't righteous, they want to play games with people's birthright, they're going to be running to Moors. Right? Guaranteed. Just like the Duke said, when it gets to that point where they can't get away because they sold out, instead of following their ancient foremothers and forefathers in the 20s and telling you that they're Moorish Zionist temple, nah, They took some deal with whoever that came after this and said, we're your Hebrew Israelite leader, and then they follow this sellout and abandon their Moorish birthright of being Jews. For all you dumbasses that want to think that being a Moor means Islamic, Muslim. I don't want to say Allah because what are you talking about Allah? There's people, right? These people say Allah? Do Jews say Allah? So what do you mean? You know? Because the ignorance of the people is you know, it's not fair. You know, people aren't supposed to be ignorant still. You're not supposed to be. So we came up, right? We came up with Steve Coakley. We came up with Dr. Francis Cresswell Singh. We came up with Naeem Akbar. We came up with Amos Wilson. We came up with Boyd Graves, Hemet Valentine, Jewel Pookrum. Like, we didn't come up with the dumb niggers. We came up with the black dot. We came up with A.A. Rashid. Like, don't debate that if we're Moors or if we're not Moors. You know, like, we came up under the masters. And all the masters know that we're Moors. Know that. Whether they claim it or not, I don't care. That's up to them. That's their position. I'm a Moor. They know Islam. Oh, can't forget Dr. Kaaba. Like, we came up under the elders. Why you think he stopped being Booker T. Coleman and stuff like that? Because of some African whatever? No, because it's status correction. You're gonna be classifying me as no Booker T. Coleman and all that stuff. I'm not no European. What do you think he found out? It's on YouTube and stuff like that. When he sat down with the master and they went in, for all the black guys who were doubting and all that stuff, the master was humbled by the master. That's the name change, right? You never heard about Booker T. Coleman ever again. Buried that. Kabahayawatha Kamene. Panther Prince. A status correction. When you realize this is bigger than saying you're a Moor. No saying you're a Moor. But correcting your status. And your status starts with your mindset. So if you're a dumbass and you're going to play around with we're Hebrew Israelites and we're not Moors, but we can pull up a picture for you of some people who were Hebrew Israelite that called themselves Moors in the 1920s, then you need to pick a side now. Like, you need to pick a side. Who you riding with? You riding with the Moorish Jews or you riding with the Hebrew Israelites? You're riding with the people who got invited to Haile Selassie's coronation, or the people who FBI got on charges and stuff like that because they're embezzling and playing church and stuff like that? Who you riding with? I'm not in this. I'm just a Moor. Just seeing, what's going on. People sending me videos, people talking crazy in videos as if you could really talk crazy like that. You can't talk crazy like that. Like, you can't talk crazy like that. That's why European doesn't have to worry, huh? European doesn't have to worry. Put it out there for the Europeans right now. European, you don't have to worry. We're not our foremothers and forefathers who enslaved you and all that stuff like that. We're not those ones. We have a prophet, and he told us learn to love instead of hate. So you see guns and stuff like that, don't get caught up in thinking that we're on something, do something to you. We have bigger problems that we might need to send our FBI to go take care of. Because like one of the masters said a long time ago, how come we're in the problems that we're in? Because nobody dealt with the sellout. Everybody wants to pretend like they're the righteous ones that came and saved the whatever. And they sold you out. How we know? Because in 2020, they're still calling you black, African, all these fictions. You name it, it's a fiction. And then you're letting them call you that. And then you're riding with them calling you that. When your foremothers and forefathers, at least from 1920s, knew that they were Moors and put Moorish on everything that they were doing. Why do you think there was a Renaissance since Harlem? Renaissance is Moorish. So what does Moorish have to do with Harlem? That there's going to be a Renaissance there. Why is there a Renaissance there? Why there? Because it was Moorish, that's why. People go to Harlem, they thought they're in Morocco or whatever. But it's black guys. It's not Moroccans over here. And they're Hebrew and they got... That's what European was fearing. They're fearing no black anything. They're fearing us organizing as Moors. Islam more. Islam. Feels like it's been a while, yo.
Yeah. Definitely has, man. Definitely feels like it's been a while. I've been in the back watching though. It's been busy. It's been real busy out there. Moyes is, making a lot of videos. But the back what you was just saying about all the leaders who already had came before. No, because that part. Just at the end just now of what they were fearing. They weren't fearing no black anything, like you just said. They were fearing the organizing of our people proclaiming their nationality, just like you were saying. Because if they wasn't able to, that's why they have all those organizations that they created, the NCAA, NAACP, and all of that stuff that they created. It's because they need to be able to monitor what their so-called minorities are doing. So the only thing that you can be showing or anything like that is something that they created. So they can just monitor and watch. As soon as you start your own organization, they're fearing the fact that, just like the Grand Sheik said, you organizing without them knowing what's going on and you proclaiming your nationality and spreading that. They can't have that. Mm-hmm. So they'll do whatever. I'm pretty sure Grand Sheik got stories of them sending agents into the temple to, monitor what's going on, and I'm pretty sure some of them agents was looking just like the Moors who was in there.
Yeah, straight.
They'll go to, because they'll go to anything to make sure that they're in the position that they can stay in, which is to colonize Morocco. take over here, make sure that they're in a position to take over the Moroccan Empire.
Yeah.
It was something else. It's gonna come back to me.
Yeah, well, you
It
got
was
some,
something else that was real key.
You got time. You could think about it.
Oh, yep. Because you had said we need to have our own FBI, right? To be able to send after these dirty Moors or whatnot. And it had reminded me again in the book, The Moroccan Empire in the United States, 1776 to 1956, from Luella J. Hall. She mentions about the Moorish police that were arresting these people during the they arrested a group of Confederates who was selling on the Moroccan shores, and I'm like, who's the Moorish police? How could you? I've never even seen that line together, and this is in the early 1800s, and I'm wondering who is these Moorish police? FBI was just created.
Yep.
Moorish police been out. Been out. We need to go figure out what they was doing, because I'm like, well, who was that? Who was the so-called chief of police of that? Mm-hmm. Because if you're just calling them the Moorish police and they were arresting people, she literally called it the Moorish police. So we need to. It was like they're saying, it was already government structure already set up here.
Yep.
I don't blame the European for making his thing that he named FBI. You know what I mean? Like, they have to have some type of structure to keep their stuff in order. You know what I mean? Like, I don't blame them for that, but don't come outside your jurisdiction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that's what they're doing, but if they did their thing and monitored it for their own people, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But don't come outside your jurisdiction. I don't see what you're doing with that.
Yeah.
Because we had our own.
Mm-hmm.
We had our own. It was just already set up. And I'm like, okay, why are there the Moorish police in this book? If they had their own, where's the articles with them being sovereign citizens? They're arresting people during the so-called Confederate War. I want to, how are you doing that? You guys aren't supposed to be your own government. You don't have none of that. You don't have the authority to be arresting people and stuff like that. That's sovereign citizen talk. No, they was arresting people during the Confederate War because they were coming across the Moroccan shores. Luella J. Hall, she mentions the whole thing. Like, it was just it's known that the Moorish police were arresting people during the Confederate War. And I'm wondering, why is the Moorish police, if the Confederate War is happening here and Morocco's over there, why is the Moorish police arresting people during the Confederate War that's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't even be mentioned. They shouldn't even be mentioned. It shouldn't even be mentioned. It has nothing to do with you.
Nothing. Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had whatever arms they had, man. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. People need to do their research on the Moorish police from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. That was already set up.
Yeah.
3, 2, and 1. Show 'em!
Let's find this thing again.
Now, this here is Duke. Is he a Moor or is he Edom?
Us that have been laughed at,
Us that have been laughed at, those of us that be pointing at us like, oh, look at the funny people in the hats, and all of that type of stuff. Like, it's good, man. It's good. It's good. Everybody making tapes about Moors and how Moors ain't real and Moors shouldn't do this. Remember those people, B. Remember them, because they're gonna be the first one ransoming their children to get close to a Moor who's really right and who's really.
Any of this shit to my face. I want you to understand what I'm going to reply. The first words out of my mouth is going to be Isaiah 16. You guess what I'm going to say?
I'll tell you, Isaiah is the I am, right? Remember, Isaiah is the higher self, not some guy. Had revelations. It's not some guy. It's all metaphysical.
Where does it say when you run from hill to hill? I'm not going to be bringing up Isaiah 4. Ooh, let me hide with you. See, they made this video a long time ago. See, they sold us out a long time ago.
Oh no, man, the ones who sold you out are the ones who didn't tell you the metaphysical meaning of Moab. They're talking about Moab and they get stuck in their Bible thumping BS because they strayed off the path of the metaphysics. They don't deal with Kabbalah. They deal with Torah and stuff like that. They don't deal with tetragrammaton. They don't deal with that. So they don't understand the metaphysics of what's going on, but they're the ones that's going to save you. When everybody who you know is a prophet or was a righteous individual was also a mystic, and they were mysterious and all this. Metaphysical meaning of Moab. Moab seems to have two sides to its significance. Moab means seed of the father flowing from the father of his father. And while Moab represents the body and most external conditions of life, there is something good in it, or at least a possibility of good. From the top of a mountain in Moab, Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, Jehovah showed Moses the promised land. Ruth, who represents the love of the natural soul for God, and from whom David and Jesus were descended, was a Moabitess. On the other hand, the text, "Cursed be he that doeth the work of Jehovah negligently, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood," accompanies a charge from the Lord to destroy Moab. Moab here signifies carnal mind, lust-born, turpitude. When the individual enters into the overcoming life, he receives the commission to destroy, to cast out the carnal mind or personal limited self. This is the self to which Jesus referred when he said, "If any man would come after me, let him deny himself." When man takes up his work, when man takes up this work, he must not be deceitful about it. by keeping back part of the price, as Anicius and Sapphira did, or by seeking to save some of the carnal self, the goodliest of it, as Ashan did. For if he does these things, he will be cursed. That is, he will not attain the happiness and the peace that come only to the wholehearted and true. Nor may he be negligent in his work of dying to the carnal mind. For the lazy and slothful man will not win the prize that is set before him, eternal life, preservation of the entire man, spirit, soul, and body. The sword is this text. The sword in this text represents the word of God. Now, they're not going to tell you that about Moabites, but they're going to tell you about some incest or whatever like that, and you're going to listen to them and abandon your birthright. Completely abandon your birthright because you thought Moabite had to do with some incest or something. All right, Obi, easy. Remember, we told you that the more revs, just to say what's up. Islam to Obi. Remember we talked about that. Islam, boy.
Yo, real quick, Nancy.
Yeah, well, good.
I was wondering why every time these so-called Hebrew Israelites, when they're trying to prove that we're not Moors, first thing they do is they grab their Bible. Right? but what I'm wondering is, like, for real, because in the real world, they don't do that. But any other case, I don't care what it is, they can be in Walmart to return something, and they be like, you ain't got your receipt, and he be pull out his Bible and talk about Isaiah. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. He being so-called court, dealing with these highwaymen or magistrates or whatever. He's not pulling out their so-called Bible talking about Isaiah. They don't do that. In no other situation, I don't care what it is that they're doing. Nothing. Yeah. But when it comes to prove that, we're not Moors, they come on here and make videos and go straight to that. But I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know where that came from. Who invented that? They need to just take that. That's embarrassing. That's not even, like,
playing their
that's
self.
out there, man. That's not eligible. You shouldn't even use that. You're making yourself not qualified. Like the master teacher Todd said, conversation over. As soon as they bring that out.
Conversation's over. Conversation's over.
It goes every time, for some reason, every time I have to deal with these so-called Hebrew Israelites. I told you, I always lay a foundation down first. First thing I'm saying, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about law. I'm talking about law. Like when you go to those so-called magistrates in there, I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about nothing else but that. What you gonna bring in there to talk about the law? You're not gonna bring in there your so-called Bible. So that's not happening. So this I always make that clear because then they can't use anything. I remember I seen I forgot his name. The big guy, the big Hebrew Israelite guy who told Polite to cross
the line.
When they had that debate thing with the Moors, with the Moors, and it was like they told the Moors that they couldn't use certain things, like you can't use. I think it was like a law dictionary or something like that. Like they had to stick to prove that who we were. They could use their Bible, and we had to use They had to use their Circle 7. I said, "This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like, who made this battleground?" And that's what they. And I'm like, see, this is going to cause confusion. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. It doesn't matter who, because you know if they had the de jure boys on there, first of all, that's not happening. That's not going to be a rule. That I can't believe they even said that. That, oh, we only can use the circle 7 in the Bible to prove who we are. I'm like, what? That was their rules when they made that debate, man. It was crazy. That's who we dealing with.
Anyway, to try to get an upper hand.
I'm like, you can't use no law, no maps, no archaeological evidence, none of that. No articles we found with Africa and all of that being underneath Florida or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Can't use none of that. Just use the Bible and the circle 7. Come on, man. Look what they doing. So, you know, it's always been a game.
Yeah.
Always been a game. Can't use no dictionary. What?
Can't use dictionary.
Because once you do that, once you take that out, you can debate. You can have an argument because everything's just going to be opinionated. There's no facts. We can't correct anything because somebody can be thinking, you know, when they're talking about a box, they can be discussing the box, but this guy thinking the whole time you're talking about a box, he got candy canes on his mind. Like, we gotta look up definitions because that's what the whole mix up. People been talking about boxes, and our people been thinking about candy canes the whole time. and the conversations about boxes. Because we never looked up to see what a box was. Our mind, candy cane. That's why you can have a debate once you dealing with these type of people who don't know what nothing means.
The worst thing you could do, debate one of them people.
There's no debate what more is. We're not debating. I'm telling you what the word means in the dictionary. It's not me. I'm not even telling you what I believe, my opinion. I'm just telling you the facts. This is what it is. It is.
Just like you say that this is just what it is. Just like the mother put in the chat. Jeremiah 13:23. Can the black more change his skin or the lepers in spots?
Yeah.
Since you want to quote Bibles and stuff like that. Since you want to quote Bibles. These people don't know who the Moors are. You're playing like you don't know who the Moors are. You listen to people saying that they're Hebrew and stuff like that. All right. Keep playing.
And that's modern.
Keep playing.
That's modern.
Keep playing.
That's modern. There was no people on the planet that was walking around talking about it was Hebrew. Like, because we already know Hebrew's a Greek word. Hebrew is not even a Hebrew word. You know, I love saying that. I love saying that. Hebrew is not even a so-called Hebrew word. There's no such thing as Hebrew. That's Canaanite. Back to the Moors. But you can't say that.
And then like the Moors say in the chat, they're gonna go through all the different names through all the different Bibles as if they're talking about some different people or different thing.
Right.
Talking about one people. Canaanite Moabite bloodline.
Are they Moors or Edom? Like, why is it only our people go through that? They don't do that for no so-called Chinese people.
Nobody.
Nobody else. Nobody else do they make these. Why they don't do that to the so-called Philippines people? They over there talking about they're not Filipinos, they're mortals. Why they ain't dissing them? That ain't Morocco. I be always thinking about this stuff. I'm like, yo, why they don't do none of that? They'll do none of That's not Morocco. That's not Morocco. That's the Philippines. Why y'all don't give them those problems? You can't be calling yourself Moros. That's a bucket hat because they wear turbans and fences out there too.
No bucket hat talk over there because they know they get fucking machete to death talking crazy.
Exactly.
You know you get machete to death. Come talk crazy about our birthright in some guerrilla warfare spots. See what happen.
You be de-limbed.
De-limbed.
Yeah, that's playing out there.
Shit. De-limbed.
Over there talking about you gonna knock somebody's turban off their head. Go ahead.
Yeah. Knock your fez off.
Go ahead. Just the talk of it. Make a video talking about this the Philippines. We're Filipinos. We're not mortals. Go ahead. Make those videos. Could you imagine that? Nobody else, no other nation does this. We're not, we're not, no, none of them. None of them. And if they are, they're correcting something. You're not going to call them Filipinos. Like we're not Filipinos. Everybody knows that comes from King Philip. Like, but for some reason, nobody does to us, Philip means da-da-da-da-da. They don't do that over there. They don't do that over there, but over here, we play that, black means to me.
Yeah.
What?
To you, it means.
They don't do that nowhere else. Well, the Philippines means to me. No.
Yeah.
No, they know where that comes from. They know what that means. We the only ones that's trying to hold on to a fraud because it fits their agenda. They making notes off of it. You're not gonna play that game in no other place. You can play that, sell out for some change here, not nowhere else. Not nowhere else. Here, the dirty people get to be on TV and broadcast. Get to speak at people's funerals and all of that. We big up our dirty people here. Not nowhere else. Not nowhere else.
Oh, hold on. I see somebody on there. Somebody in there. Islam,
man. What's up?
What's good, man?
Man.
I'm just talking about
Hey, bro, it took me 2 seconds, man. I'm looking at, I don't know if I can switch this camera, but I'm looking at the Moorish police here in Morocco, and they got Europeans on their knees, bro. Like I don't know how to switch the camera.
Oh, for Moorish police? Wait, I'm gonna try to look it up right now and see.
Hey, I'm telling you, bro. I just looked up. It took me 2 seconds, bro. Like, damn, how can you switch the camera? No, I can't. I don't think I can.
I'm about to look it up and see. Where are you, in images?
No, I just went to Moorish police, and you got to put it together, and they got a guy. It's a big old hole. Can y'all see this? I don't know if y'all can see this, but this shit big is like, bro. 2 seconds, bro. I went to Google and put up in Moorish police together. Yeah. Let me go back. I put Moorish police together, and they say, "Do you mean?" I was like, "Nah." Put the shit together, and I saw one article in Morocco. It was talking about it was an Arabic Express, but if you go to the Guardians of Peace in Morocco, a troop of Moorish police. I ain't with the image. I just put in Moorish police in Google and press all and scroll down. And it's got so much. It's ridiculous, bro. And when I scrolled scrolled down, I went to the 18. Hold on. It says 1893 antique print Africa Morocco Guardians True Moorish. It was on eBay. That's where the original post. But all I clicked is Moorish Police, and when it says "Do you mean?" I'm like, nah. I just put it together. I wish
Yeah.
I could switch this camera around.
I thought I was trying to see it.
Wait, hold on. Can I switch to no? I just put in Moorish Police together. I just put the word together.
Huh?
They got one. It's called the Guardians of Peace in Morocco.
Yeah, I think that's
the
what
one
he's
I'm
talking
talking about.
That's what he's talking about. See, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. And it looked like this.
Oh, that's a European on the floor?
Let me blow. Yeah, bro. It's two of them, and they bleeding out. Hold on. Let me.
It's two of them.
It's two of them. Look, bro. Look. Let me try to. It looked like this, man.
What you looking at, yo? Where do you search to find that?
It's in the picture.
Look, go. All you gotta do. This what you gonna. All you gotta do is put in.
You gotta put Moorish Police together.
Together, right? Right, and then scroll.
Yep.
Put it together.
Scroll down a little bit.
Scroll down. It's gonna say American Man in Pennsylvania. Then it's gonna say Guardians of Peace in Morocco, Truth. And then the third one is on eBay.
All right, yeah.
Okay, click on that one. You hear me? All right, now pull up the image. View image. And when you go to view original item, view original item. Hold on. Wait, go. Hold on.
Yeah, that's probably that picture. That's probably Florida.
Okay, click on. Okay, click on. Then scroll down.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go. And then when you click on it, it tells you. It goes through everything. You see what that is?
Yeah, a troop of Moorish police. Yeah. Moorish police escorting prisoners.
Yeah. You see the two Europeans drinking water from the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you superimpose it. Yeah, bro, it took me 2 seconds.
You do it and put Black Lives Matter right underneath it.
I found the article when I was looking. I found the article in the Arab Express. It was talking about the Sultan and the Europeans and stuff, and some litigation. When you go back to the search engine, I want to find that book. I'm trying to find the book that is in, but I'm gonna buy that book, wherever it's at. I think when you read, I think they say this used to be in the newspaper. This particular section right here. I'm not sure though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hold on. Hold on. I'm doing some work, and he talking. I'm like, damn. All right, let me go to it right quick. Let me see what I can find in 2 seconds. I'm like, oh man, 2 seconds, bro. And I say, I know if you space it, they're gonna play games.
Moorish police.
Yeah, bro. Also, you know that book that I showed you, Yusuf, what is the Moorish Empire? That book that's 1700. They also got it up in there. They talks about the governor, the Moorish government, the structure. They talks about the clothing, all of that. You know.
Yeah. I never Googled the Moorish police. I should have been Googled it. I read that line and it was like, oh, It's interesting. And so I just knew it was a great point to know, but I never Googled it.
I found another one with litigation. It said United States Department papers relating to the foreign relation United States with the annual message of President transmuted to Congress December the 3rd, 1907 with the Moorish government.
Yeah, look at this.
Is the receipt of your note the 15th existing condition of Morocco that your government with the Spain is about to arrange a temporary but immediate organization of the Moorish police. This is this September the 24th, 1907. You might want to pull that up too. Is oh Lord have mercy. It's a lot. It's an organization. Okay, this one is the papers.
Yeah, that's probably the one that they reorganized.
Right. This one, if you scroll all the way, it's the last one, Cujo, is the last one. Papers relating to the foreign relation of the United States, and it's the last one. Well, it's the second to the last.
On the same search?
Yeah, the same search, the second to the last. When they say papers,
Think this real quick. This came from the American Review of Reviews. It says this agreement, which was to last for 5 years, provided for a Moorish police force commanded by Moors. The Algeciras Conference, assisted by French and Spanish instructors and officers, and inspected by a Swiss Inspector General. So yeah, that's probably the new because that's 1910. I'm trying to find the 1800 one. Here we go, 1838.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is the second to the last.
Yes, the 1907.
Yeah.
File number 2151.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, I have the honor to acknowledge the receipt of your note of the 15th instant announcing with regard to existing conditions in Morocco that your government with that of Spain is about to arrange for the temporary but immediate organization of the Moorish police. This measure appearing essential to the effective protection in Morocco of foreign life and interest, particularly in view of the declaration made by the Shariftan Minister of War in response to a note addressed to him by the representatives of France in Spain at Tangier, that he is unable to give official or personal assurance that he holds sufficient powers to organize the police or guarantee the faithfulness or discipline of the force assembled by him or the safety of its instructors.
If this ain't evidence, bro, wow.
Yo, okay. See, this is from 1838, though. All right, almost 100 years before the setup in 1907. See, it was already there. They just right around the time when they were reorganizing stuff and putting people in power who they wanted. We already had stuff running before then. Because this book is in 1838, and it talks about it says the nobles had not the privileges which were attainable by the sword in France and in Italy. The feudal system was little or not at all known. The people became pastoral and agricultural, but they never descended into a vassalage. The Moorish police laws were in harmony with the laws of the Roman police. See, that all makes sense. That's and that makes sense because even if you look at the Constitution is based off Muslim law. It's the same thing today. Even their stuff that's made for them, it's still based off of Moorish law.
Yeah.
So even back in history, the Moorish police laws were in harmony with the laws of the Roman police. It's just that now everything's corrupt. You know, and they learned well how to corrupt something because we mastered that first. That's how we fell. And then they just picked that up, and that's why they falling out. But it was already set up. Do you see that one? The book, The Laws of Spain? And they talking about here.
The Laws of Spain.
No, the book is called The Congress of Verona, comprising a portion of Nimrod of his own. You gotta click books. Like when you search Moorish police, searching in the books part. And a bunch of stuff gonna come up then you're gonna see a bunch of different stuff.
Because once you realize that we had our own everything, it'll make us accepting that we're Moors more real. Like knowing that there was a classified people called Moorish police, right?
That is known.
Hold on, I have to mute you on your background.
All right, cool.
Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to get out there was the Redskins having to change the name and the logo.
Yes, I seen some of it. I didn't know what they're changing it to. Do you know what they're changing it to?
I have no idea. That hasn't come up yet.
Okay, because we know whatever they changed it to, it's because they're trying to get rid of the figure with it, showing that. Because the mascot is a dark-skinned so-called Indian.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to get rid of that, that figure. Like, because on TV and everything, they promote, light-skinned, almost Britney Spears-looking so-called Native Americans as the Aboriginal people here.
Yeah.
Like, that's promotion. They got to change that. But, because that's been the picture for so long. Because that was known back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That what the dark-skinned people were, those people. That's known. But because people being so active on social media, showing the differences, showing the pictures with us being the people, they got to change that. They got to change that image.
But then the other part I was looking at it too was that they're just like they dissolve the Negro black, they're dissolving the American Indian.
Oh.
They're using the biggest advertising platform, right? Literally forcing them to change the name. The high rollers are drawing their card, and again, they're using the whole George Floyd climate thing in order to keep the people black. Right? They definitely want to keep the people black, keep the people in a dead position, because it's not some new stuff about this logo being an issue. Right? They've been told that this thing is an issue, right? The book Native American Mascot Controversy. Who was insulting whom? The Eton Fighting Reds found themselves unwillingly sucked into the tornado of publicity created by the Fighting White parody. The defenders of the Fighting Reds did not take kindly to the notion of basking unwillingly in the reflection of glory of the Fighting Whites. According to the report in the New York Daily News, school officials have been unresponsive to the protests of local Native American activists. John Nuspel, hold on, where does it mute you on a second? John Nuspel, the school district superintendent, has said the Indian logo is not offensive, but that the Fighting Whites are insulting. Yesterday, a school official would only offer, the Eton School District has no comment, but thank you for your call. Now, when you have a whole, like, nation chasing after something that they've been dealing with this. This is not just dealing with this yesterday. They've been dealing with this. And they're using the biggest advertising platform to dissolve the American Indian BS. Because that's gone down with the ship. If they're arresting all these high ever, whoever, whatever's, and you know what I mean, they're in some underground and all their clones are the ones that we're seeing right now and all that, then what do you think about the people who work with them? They're getting a pass? They've been dealing with this. And just like they're sick and tired of Negro, they're sick and tired of the American Indian BS. And they're getting rid of it. Remember, using the biggest advertising platform. And just like the Moor said, wearing the Indian crown, these people are going to be ransoming their children to be Moors when it kicks off. Because how come, you have to ask yourself, you know what I mean? They're going to get mad at the team and, you know, derogatory, this and that. But how come when Saracen High School, they're not mad at that name? They're mad at Saracen High School. There's no need to be mad at Saracen High School, because Saracen's not a real thing, right? That's just make believe. It's not violating any Aboriginal people or whatever. How come they're not changing Alhambra High School? When they're changing that? Why is there Alhambra High School here? Why is their team named the Moors? Why are they striving for more? They're not trying to change it.
St. Benedict, the Moore High School too.
Yep.
So called. Yep.
Right. Now remember, go ahead, Mark.
But I'm questioning. I'm like, why would David Ferguson High School even be here? That has nothing to even do with here. I would love to know that story that the Europeans lied on the internet to say how that school got their name. Because that has not, I can't even see how, because that has nothing to do with here. Supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the story that they push, that this ain't Morocco and all of that. So why are they naming? Because that has nothing to do with here.
Right. Now this one's interesting. People are going out banning whatever.
Yeah.
California high school gets to keep their Arab mascot.
Why? Oh, yeah. Why is that? Remember the news article? It's a news video. It's on my page. I found it when it was breaking down the high school teaching that it was so-called Muslims here in America first, that the Indians had Muslim names and all of that stuff. And so if you want, it's all put together now. Like, yeah, they don't. And nobody, the school was mad, but they didn't say nothing because that was the fact. That is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did have a so-called Muslim name.
Yeah, I think my service just messed up.
Yeah.
I think
What you
that's
saying,
all
Mark?
that sound, man. I think my service, man, I'm parked on the side of the road, man. By a cemetery, man. So I think my service, I'm in the middle of nowhere, man. I'm at work, but
oh, for real, the service is tripping.
Yeah, man. So I think the service, that's why it's bad, man. I'm in the middle of no, man. I'm really in Clantown, Alabama. I'm sitting at their church, actually.
You at the Bammy right now?
Yeah, bro. I'm in the Bama. You hear me? I don't know the name of the church, but I'm right here, like by a church.
Yeah.
Like literally. Yeah. So I guess that's why it's cutting off. You hear me? But trust me, man, I'm gonna tune back in, man. I went working on something, man. I'm about to drop.
Yeah, Mark, do your thing.
Yeah,
Do
man.
your thing. You already know.
Please, man. Hey, but I got some videos
Love,
coming
Mark.
real soon, man. Got
All
some
right.
videos coming.
I was like, babe. Native American Indian Studies. A note on names. We have to discard both American Indian and Native American if we want to be faithful to reality and true to the principles that a people's name ought to come from themselves. The consequence of this, that the original inhabitants of this land are to be called by whatever name they give themselves. There are no American Indians or Native Americans. There are many different peoples, hundreds in fact, bearing such names as Wampanoag, Cherokee, Seminole, Navajo, Hopi, and so on, and through the field of names. These are the real names of the people. But the conundrum of names doesn't end there. Some of the traditional or real names are not actually derived from the people themselves, but from their neighbors or even enemies. Mohawk is a Narragansett name meaning flesh eaters. Many of the black guys that you see, they call themselves Mohawk or whatever. Now you know. Sioux is a French corruption of an Anishinaabe word for enemy. Similarly, Apache is a Spanish corruption of a Zulu word for enemy, while Navajo is from the Spanish version of a Tiwa word. If we want to be fully authentic in every sense, we will have to inquire into the language of each people to find the name they call themselves. We were calling ourselves Moors, Mauers, then Moors. It may not be surprising to find that the deepest real names are often the word for people or for the homeland or some differentiating characteristic of the people as seen through their own eyes. The important thing is to acknowledge the fundamental difference between how a people view themselves and how they are viewed by others, and to not get hung up on the names for the sake of political correctness. In this context, the difference between American Indian and Native American is non-existent. Both are names given from the outside. On the other hand, in studying the situation and history of the original people of the continent, we do not need to completely avoid names whose significance is understood by all. Indeed, it may be the shortest way to penetrate the situation of indigenous people is to critically use the generic name imposed on them. Native American Indian studies, then, is a way to describe an important part of the history of America, of the colonization of the Americas. It is a part of world history, world politics, world culture. It is a component of indigenous people studies. By using this terminology, we aim for a critical awareness of nationhood and homelands of indigenous self-determination. It is sometimes noted how far advanced indigenous peoples in Latin and South America and Canada are in thinking about their nationhood as compared to native peoples inside the United States. A major reason for this disparity is the apparent capturing of indigenous self-understanding. The substitution of Native American for American Indian may actually deepen the problem. Everyone knows the indigenous people are not Indians. Not so many know they are also not American. So it's heading for the time of the Moors. That's what's going to be presenting itself. That's what's going to be presenting itself. The end of all the fraud. All the fraud time is over. Time of the du jour. And you better be du jour. Because it is that time right now. Islam more.
Islam. I'm glad you mentioned that it's time to be du jour because it just struck a nerve to that you can't be playing the wishy-washy. You can't be playing the straddling in the fence because you're homeboy. That's your homeboy. And you lost a couple of your friends because of this more science stuff. Because of what you've been studying and stuff like that. We all can lose the friends and stuff. But now you're playing wishy-washy because you trying to still fit in so you can still be around your boys. Now you're not wearing your badge. Now you participating in the legal activities. Stay on the path. Stay on it. Don't start traveling in the fence because you just like you're not done studying. The prophet says study yourself. I was just going over that with Brother Monet earlier, who was building ours in the Korean. And we would just break it down, like the about the body and how we don't know there's tons of questions you can ask yourself about your body you have no idea about. You can be studying about yourself to the end. You would never have completed studying yourself. So you don't have time to be straddling the fence, trying to fit in with your homeboys, your homegirls, or whoever, because that's what's going to get you off of the path, and now you're blending in with the Negro colored blacks, and nobody can tell. You over here, you speaking as a Lenore, but you look nigger. You go over here, oh, I can take, I'm more what Alpha says. No, you fit the description. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't agree with that. You fit the description without your fez on. You better put your fez on so you don't blend in. You can't straddle the fence. You gotta show me some more rebellion on you. I gotta see it. You know, the stage is yours. That's what's gonna win. Don't straddle the fence because now you're causing confusion. Because you don't want to go all the way in. Like I said earlier, once you go over what those words mean, you can't use them no more, or you got to change your way of thinking. Because you straddling the fence, still using words, thinking that applies to people because you ain't been studying, because you've been straddling the fence. Mm-hmm. Now you causing confusion. The stage is yours. Those are the ones who are going to win. Don't straddle the fence. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the big hard part. I'm starting to notice. As soon as you said the stage is yours, it struck a nerve. You know, I see a lot. It's hard to just stay on the path. Just stay on it. Just stay on it. Because the red dress is going to walk by. Mm-hmm. We know that. We know that. They're going to put it there. But you got a mission. You got to stay on the mission. You got to stay studying it. Yeah. Stay doing it. Stay focused. Yep, the red dress is going to walk by. It's going to get you. Yep, the mission is studying. Yep. That's the secret mission. You open the paper. Yep. I'll slow and shit. And then you're expecting, you know what I mean? And you have one sheet of paper. Study, 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 and study yourself. Yep. This message will self-destruct. Yep. That's the secret. You know. Don't forget it's Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. MHHS, eyes wide open. Eastern Standard Time, 9:30. Calling number 563-999-3403. 563-999-3403. blogtalkradio.com/MHHS-eyes wide open. Don't forget. This is not more. Everything else before we close out? No, it's found all the moves in the chat. Give honor to the prophet. Give thanks to the grand sheik in the platform. Canaanland more. Islamic brother Amazite for calling in. That's I thought that was brother Sam Rock. Oh, yeah, girl, yeah. They did not heard that accent. I was like, I don't know how I did that. But it's wrong to the Moors. It's wrong to our Moors. Everywhere.
all Moors.
Well, let me welcome our friends and colleagues from Morocco for this very important first session of the U.S.-Morocco Strategic Dialogue.
Stay up, never sleep. Yes, we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, blue peace on the road. Whoa, 70. I stay up, sleeping in my bed. Rock the there they go. Trying to set the process in my head. We get all the promise in my head. Yeah, let's go to promise in my head. Take up on my plate for my head. My leg. Dirty hate, shower the love. I am a God. I am my fam, long my days. Guy in the shop. I thought of him, Mary get bloody like Carrie. Die in my prom. Like busting the cake, the principal reply. Get better with time, I go home to the fortress. Memorize all the records of the Moors library in my conscience. Library at a conference. Library by the context. 1492, talk about the Spanish when they came to conquest. In real life, playing contraband. I'm filled with the contraband. All night for an honest man. All night for my daughter. On a hot block with no minds up in my land. That's express trusting the plan. You Ali, probably the man. You I be, Common Steve Benz. Yes, indeed, this be my land. I stay up, never sleep. Yes, we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road. Whoa, 70. I stay up, sleeping in my bed. Walkers, there they go. Trying to set the process in my head. We get all the promise in my head. God bless all the promise in my head. Take up on my plate for my head.
It's not a city corpse. 10,000 years haven't been a corpse. Foreigners came to my land pointing guns and swinging Jesus cross. Empire, not a city-state. 5 atomic, not shitty lakes. Continent, not Turtle Island. Noblemen, not a wild man. Home is North America, not a stranger, but the landlord. Free white people, not Negro, black, Ethiopia, colored. Navigating with no water. Blacks are still getting slaughtered. Nationality, the order. Foreigners create war borders. Calling themselves governors since they can't call themselves paid. To keep you in ignorance, they replace the E with the A. Keep you defended, always a defendant. Kill your brother over sneakers, but when the highwaymen kill you, you won't defend it.
I stay up, never sleep. Yes, we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road. Whoa, 70. I stay up, sleeping in my bed. Walkers, there they go. Trying to set the process in my head. We get all the promise in my head. God bless all the prophets in my head. Take up on my plate for my head. My land. No, I stay up. Yes, we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road.
It is a violation
I stay up, sleeping in my bed.
of dignity.
Trying to set the process in my head.
Long as there is blood,
God bless all the prophets in my head.
name of God, with my sweet peace. So let me welcome our friends and colleagues from Morocco for this very important first session of the U.S.-Morocco